So I'm gonna be making a life cast of your head for the end of the movie. Ever had one done before? No.
At the start of each of the films I've done with Ty, there is very specific conversation that pertains to the era that we're set in, the creative requirements, and the overall visual aesthetic. And we start there in a very broad way, and then we start to narrow it down and narrow it down.
Right away, we were talking about the look, talking about the clothes and the hair and the makeup and the different options that we had for this kind of transformative stuff.
Well, there always is a collaboration, and I always welcome that because I want them to feel good about what we're doing in the makeup trailer. I want them to be inspired by it. I want them to feel good about it. And really, this movie-making process is such a collaboration between so many entities. But with Kevin, it was a great dance, if you will.
In the end, I believe pretty strongly that you have to kind of defer to the actor, ultimately, because that's going to be the person that is going to inhabit this character.
Early 2021, when we started pre-production and prep for X, Ty came to me and said, I want her to have something unique and different, and either like a wine-stained birthmark or like a freckle birthmark. Hand doing it, you would just never get the level of consistency. So Weta Workshop, they did all of my prosthetics for X and for Pearl. And so of course at the beginning they had taken a life cast of Mia so that we could custom build all the prosthetics for her for the old lady Pearl makeup. So we had a positive of her face, and we were able to build a vac form, which is a clear plate that sits right over her face, and then I had freckles drilled into that vac form, so every morning she sits in the chair, and at a certain point in the makeup process, I put that vac form on her face and I airbrush over top it, and so that freckle configuration is exactly the same every day. So that takes me about 5 minutes to do with the vac form plate versus 20 minutes hand done. And then not to have the confidence that the freckles are always lined up.
That's a pretty bitchin' scar. How'd you get it? I got shot.
It's a busy film. We thought, honestly, when I first read the script, I'm like, there's not all that much for me. And then it turned out to like every day I was doing something.
It's quite ambitious. There's a lot of makeup effects gags. And even Labatt, he's got a prosthetic nose that I would put on every time he worked, the bridge of his nose with a scar. So the workload was big. Ty has a very tight working relationship with Justin, Raleigh, and Fractured. He's worked with them for like 15 plus years. So he said, hey, let's consider these guys.
We went through their shot list. There was a few things that Weta was going to handle because they had dealt with that on Pearl. And we just kind of went through the list going, okay, is this us? Is this going to be Weta? What's the shared workflow here?
I gotta tell you, I was really excited because I got to have one of the coolest deaths kind of ever, I think, I got him! I told you I'd get him! I got to die with having a crucifix pummeled into my eye, and I fall from the Hollywood sign. I mean, come on, that's it.
Let's do that. I don't want to make enemies. Fractured had built this rig, and it's a very complicated rig, but very straightforward as well.
You're gonna get this piece that goes on her eye. It's a nylon material, so it should be very light.
You definitely need something to support the crucifix. You need to make a crucifix that resembles the original crucifix, but lightweight enough that you can put it in the head and it's not going to bounce around.
After that, you can stick this cross into this socket. Okay.
There's so many elements that could go wrong with it.
It's an intense process of the prosthetics kind of coming on, and I guess it was about an hour-long process.
But also we had a really short, narrow time frame to put it on because it's kind of set up between shots. So they'll shoot her up to the point, then we break away. We have 45 minutes or so to put it on, and then the silicone piece that has to line up perfectly on top of that eye, and then of course the crucifix that slides on that. And then we go back, we shoot it.
And so her eye is closed underneath, of course.
I was gonna wink at you, Akiko, but I can't. I can only wink at this eye. But I think like once it was attached and covering my eye, I kind of underestimated, you know, having sight from my sight, from good sight from two eyes, and then being in the middle of the night in the dark with like on a ledge and your equilibrium being a little bit off.
I'm working with one eye as a reminder here, so my depth perception really is off. So let's just be really mindful of that.
And doing stunts at the same time, it was a lot.
I know, it's wild, isn't it?
It's so fucked up.
Fractured built it so that the eye was partially opened and the eyeball was skewed a little bit, which adds to the creepy factor. And then, of course, you know, Kevin applied it beautifully. And he's such a master with painting, and so just those blending edges, you know, just it was seamless. And then we get out there and we're around the Hollywood sign, and it's moody lighting, and we've got that very bright blood that that Ty likes to use. And so it was exactly as he had visualized and as I had visualized and fractured, and it was a happy ending.
So creepy, it's so creepy and good, I love it.
And not only was it just a really, really cool way to kind of go out in this kind of film, because Ty is so known for his amazing death scenes, and I'm so grateful I got to have one, but just the actual process and getting to work with Kevin, who's pretty much a genius, and not just with my own prosthetics, but with everyone's in the films. They're outstanding.
I mean, it was as challenging as the other films, but I guess the one thing that was helpful, the one big thing, is that because I've worked with Ty a couple times, I know he's so focused, he's so detail-oriented, so I have a shorthand in understanding that from him.
3, 2, 1, action! Moses.
It's been an insane ride, and ultimately as hard as the other shows, but very, very rewarding ultimately.